Hello, good evening, welcome. Well, tonight is every night special, every Wednesday night. But tonight, we're going to talk about how you can shine through these troubling times and all the possibilities that are available to you. We have with us tonight a lady who has gone through every kind of transformation you can imagine, and she's come out on top because she's done her work. She's done the work to get her aligned and on point to assist and help us to grow into all that we're here to be. You know that every Wednesday night, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies comes to you with a leading lady. I am Joy Ruffin, creator of Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, and a signature style specialist and professional speaker. I like how I ran through that. I'm so eager to talk to our guest tonight, but I want you to just think of this. Bottom line, in my opinion, every woman is her own leading lady. And we're going to talk about transformation, internal and external, and how we all come to that. I'm delighted that you're here. It's always great when you can drop by because we all know, Roz and I just spoke to how busy we all are. There's certain buzzwords that after a while you get a little bit tired of. But we're all active, we're focused, we're engaged. So tonight, I'd love it if you would help me to welcome our guest, Roz Boundy. Roz, hello and welcome. So great to have you here.
Oh, hi, Joy. I was so pleased when you asked me, be a guest. Could you please be a guest? And it did take a couple of goes to find that right timeline because of various things, of course. Busyness does pop in frequently. Sometimes it's actually creating busyness for busyness' sake, and other times we really are flat out. Interesting times we're going through, though.
I love that explanation. That's a good one. It's so true, so spot on. Roz, I've known you for quite a few, I would say a couple of years now, and you're
Yeah.
one of my loyal and faithful. We both have a mutual admiration society. But I love the work that you're doing. And your work is kind of
Yeah.
broad based, but basically, we put you in the category of holistic and psychic, medium, whatever name, it's different names. But tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing now and why you love it so much.
Yeah, well, the work that I'm doing now sort of has developed over time from, from where I've come from in what I've worked through in my
Hmm.
life. So that
Right.
I was at a point I needed to do some changing. So I learnt massage and I learnt some other tools and therapies and the hypnotherapy and sound therapy and various things to help me work along and through what probably most will consider interesting things that happen in life. I did have a bowel cancer that was removed and things like that, looking after parents. But it's the combination of what I do. I've always considered it to be a body, mind, and spirit. I've loved the number three. It seems to work through my life in that way. So currently, it is using the hypnotherapy, and that is the main tool that I work with in the therapies. The mind, that's the sort of the body, that's the mind. The body is, I don't know, the more physical things of a virtual assistant is where I'm going to ground that. And the spiritual really is that connection as a psychic medium and working with that. So we're never just a one thing. So it's
No,
why
no.
over time I've felt myself the quandary, the mind, which do I follow? Which do I follow? Because most business coaches will suggest you go with what is your passion, niche it down, niche it down, niche it down. I'm
Right.
currently going through that process again, but I'm
Roz,
finding
let's back up.
fun.
Yeah, let's back up a little bit though, because what I want to know, and I'm sure the audience, how did you? I know that you did a lot of journaling, and I heard you mention the bowel cancer, but what precipitated your getting into the holistic, the healing arena, so to speak? How did that?
Ah, look, it was. I wouldn't say it was a sudden. It probably was a more gradual thing because I did start a family very young and helped a husband grow a business. We did earth
Yeah,
moving. And spending that time, look, it was all good, but it wasn't fulfilling by the time. I did volunteer ambulance work as a giving, and it still felt like there was me disappearing within that. And as far as how I grew through that and needing that, the parting of ways wasn't wasn't easy, but I did decide that I needed to move on from the marriage. And that's where I thought, I love using my hands. I wanted to actually give of that touch in massage. It's what I first learned, is that transition. But at the same time, I found in doing massage, I was actually getting messages for the people that I was
Ah,
massaging. And I thought, oh, this was interesting. So I left that for a bit and just learnt more therapies. And it just, in the last 3 or 4, actually, it's probably 5 years, it really grew to, I was being led, told, spirit was definitely telling me I need to be opening up more to what is our psychic mediumship abilities. Everybody has the connection, the ability to connect. I'm talking with my hands.
no, 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 that's all
So,
right. But I wanted to speak to that because I think the point that you just made is so spot on. I think many of us, and I just discovered this for myself, I knew it as a young girl, but I put it on the back burner because I had so many other issues to deal with. But I'm very empathic. You know how you just know and feel things, and there's certain schools that say there's no such thing as knowing, but I never bought into that. And the way that you explain that, I really get it. Somehow that massage, that touching, that you began to get messages, you began to get an inkling, a knowing that you had more to give and to do. And that in itself
yes.
is a wonderful gift. And when did you decide that this was the work you wanted to do?
Look, I started working in a business centre with, and she's grown to be a really great friend, Leanne Winston,
Oh,
in the therapies I was doing. And it was there because she is a psychic medium, and there was a workshop being offered as far as a certificate training with Lisa Williams to grow and develop the psychic mediumship. Uh, that's when I thought, well, I'm here for a purpose, a reason. I need to follow that. It was a gut feeling. Yes, it's the right thing to do. So I've grown it from there. And it really is, you sort of think, how much more can you grow? But it's never ending. Every day we're learning something new. Don't try to stop it. Just,
no.
it really is. Even in that psychic mediumship, there's sometimes things that really just, at the click of the fingers type thing, it's there. And okay, that's where I need to be moving toward.
The
So
journey
it's
of life, Roz, it's an ongoing journey. We are always into the discovery of other traits and characteristics about ourselves. Let's
yeah,
me ask you this because I know that there are plenty of people out here in the audience who want to know this. Most of us worldwide, we're in a lockdown, quarantine, we're sequestered. Many are getting cabin fever. All kinds of crazy things are happening. Now, I know that you do a little bit of everything, tarot cards, and you're psychic and you can read. What messages are you getting that you can deliver to those of us who are out here that would be beneficial and helpful for us to know that
yeah,
it's all in divine order and we're going to be just fine? Some of us know that,
yeah,
Roz, but how would you deliver a message like that to the audience?
yeah. It is in that knowing. The first thing that I do encourage everyone is, really, instead of taking my word for it being it, just because that the label of psychic medium is something that I use, but it's the process. So for yourselves to actually trust what messages you yourself are getting, doing into that heart space. The cards for me
Uh-huh.
lately has been giving that message of time to reflect, that the being closed in and restricted in what we can do in moving out and about is giving us that time. It's that space and time to actually be the bit of the introvert, but introspection and looking within, so that we are being able to just do that
Yeah.
breathing and let it go. That feeling of, God, it's all closed in and crunched up. It's just letting it go and allowing the process of listening. There's so much that we're not listening to, that we want to be busy doing this, doing that, and getting, it's all the other things that our mind is crunching us with. Just let it flow and go. Return that to Mother Earth and be in the space that you can actually listen to what within yourself it's telling you, what your spirit is telling you, your inner soul. It's there. Sometimes we need to actually go searching for it. And that's the message I've been getting with what our restrictions are doing for us. That's only outside government restrictions and other rules and regulations. There's that space within that no one else has any access to but you. And it's time
Yeah.
to actually move into that space.
Yes, it's time to go inside. And I like the way you explain this. There are some words we get our buzzwords, and everybody hops on
Yeah.
the bandwagon and they use those buzzwords until you get absolutely nauseous with them. But busy is the word. You and I spoke to this, and I don't even like the word busy, but we're all engaged. We're so engaged and so we're so focused on what we're doing that sometimes I think we forget to go deeper inside where all of our answers are. That's what you spoke
Yeah.
to, different verbiage, but that's what it is. So the key to going inside to find out what we need to find out for ourselves, what are some of the keys that you can share with us that we can all utilize?
I think the key is in just to do, and it is sitting in this chair that I'm in and taking the deep breath or two or three, just to
Hmm.
then feel that what you've got is the energy flow from the connection that is our cosmic spiritual connection. Imagine it as being that flow that goes
Right,
down and through the center of the body, allowing it to flow around in the circle. That is an energy flow. It's like the north south pole and the energy that's going around the earth. It's moving in that sort of fashion. Just imagine that as you're sitting and breathing deeply and bringing that focus. It's not a selfish focus, it is creating that flow and allowing the time space, because time's illusion too, but I'm not going to get into that. Allowing that uh, listening, sort of getting in tune with that flow. I suppose that for me is the one key that I use. And you can be doing it while you're talking to somebody, not advised, but you can be doing it in conversation. You think, and you've done that flow. For me, that
right.
works. It's taken a bit of practice over time, but getting into doing that and practicing is doing, isn't it?
I like that. I like that listening because a lot of people, and I was one some time ago, meditation, where you tune in and go in, that's difficult for high energy, high powered, zoom, zoom, zoom people, which is my DNA
Mm.
somewhat. It took a while, but then you learn to listen and you learn to listen and go deep. And however you do that, I think that's a great tip that you can share with people. Now, you do your
It can
tarot
be,
readings.
yes.
Yes, go ahead.
That doing that, it can be standing, it can be anywhere you are. It's just
Yes,
taking that moment to take the breath and have the flow.
right.
What I really like, but best at the moment, is the Lenormand deck, and that's the one. Oh, hang on, I'll just put it that way.
Yes, I've seen that.
Uh,
Yes, I know that. Uh-huh.
this is the one that I use mostly now. I do
Hmm.
use another tarot deck that is a tarot called. Actually, I'm not. It's not to hand. They're just, they're a guidance, they're a tool, and it's just so easy to flip them out and just sort of, you shuffle them and there's a card. And what we've got there, we've got a dice for the day. So
Oh, I think,
sometimes it's worth
yes,
taking a
Roz,
look.
hold on. I love this. Roz, I think that's great. I've seen you do that. And what I'd like to ask you, if you can do this, would you be able to shuffle the cards? I'm going to do a quick little commercial, how to do to the audience. And then when we come back, you'll be there. Would you be able to give some insight to what the cards say today for the universe, for us, however you want to do it? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Let me say something to the audience. I'm going to put myself solo and I'll be back with you in just a second and you'll have the cards ready, I'm sure. This is exciting. I love it. I love it. You, the audience, you might not know, and I'm making myself, I'm trying to make myself solo, and I'm doing Ross. She's having a laugh with this. I love this stuff. Let me just say this. I could hardly wait to have this wonderful lady here on the show because I just love the work that she's doing. Some of you might not know that when it comes to the holistic and the spiritual and all of that, that universe, that circle, that arena, I'm very much there. It's just a knowing, and whatever that is, it is. But let me just say this to you. I'm always delighted. Thank you, Roz and Corenda, for being here. Cheryl, it's always good to see you here. And I know, like Roz and I spoke to earlier, that everybody is busy. But what I'd like to do is extend to you an open invitation. If you're coming here for the replay and you're here for the first time, after the show is over, please make yourself a member of my group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. There's so much that I want to share with you as we move forward. And as Roz has said to us, that listening, that tuning in and going inside, it's all about that. Now, my work is as a signature style specialist and professional speaker, yet working with women who are in their second act, regardless of age, it's all about erasing the struggle for them of styling themselves and spending way too much money. It's not necessary. Love the fashion business. It is a big business. But yet, over time, I have learned that it is not about fashion. It's about developing your own signature style. So go and join the group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. And I can't wait to meet you there. Now, I'm going to go back and connect with our Roz, and I'm going to ask her to give us like a little overview of what today might hold for us. And some of us, it's today. And for some of us, Roz, it's morning, it's afternoon, it's evening. By the way, Roz is in Australia. So it's quite a distance from here. And I've made 2 trips there, Roz, so I know. All righty.
Wow.
So what do the cards have for us?
Now, I've pulled up 3 cards. So that's, I'm just trying to find where I need to sit with these. I've done this before.
Yeah,
what we've got first is I'm starting from this side. I've just got to remember which direction it is. So the first card that came is the birds. We've got the young lady and then the key. So what that's telling me for the day is how important communication is, and being very mindful of how we actually speak to ourselves, and being in that more nurturing frame of mind of how we're doing that speaking, so that not in baby talk, but as if we are talking to a child's the message that I'm getting. And what we are actually going to be doing, what we can do with our words, is actually unlocking so much potential in how we communicate. And that's why it is important to, at times, be very careful of how we actually speak to each other, and most especially to ourselves. As we're moving from this inner, because we've had time now to have been working on that inner self, continue to work on that inner self and move that into, that works that side as well, if I move that way. I usually have them on a table next to me and the 2 cameras.
I know. I thank you for this.
So keep in mind the words that we use. They are important in the how we're using them, what words. As far as what potential we're going to unlock, for me, it's actually feeling like there is a new way of doing things because of how we're needing, and have already for many people, restructured the doing of business, of being online. And sometimes there is these glitches even with the technology that we have, because there is more that's happening in a remote way. We do still need to remember that we are communicating with people. It's not just a machine. So that's living there.
So timely. So timely. And then the key, Roz, the key.
And
the key. You had the last card was the key.
Oh, yeah, the key, it's when you actually look a bit closer at the key, you see that the door is open, but if you realize that a key can I've got to go that way. A
Yes,
key is also for locking as well as unlocking. So there might be some of those things that you're speaking about that need to be kept locked away and only open up to those things that you feel need to be set free. In the bottom of that card, it's actually a beautiful, beautiful rose. I don't know if that's going to focus very well
I
as a
can see
single
it here. I
rose.
hope those in the audience can
Yeah.
see it. But
Oh,
Ron, I have to share this with you
beautiful.
because I'm empathic and intuitive myself. I love the three cards you pull because they all bleed, blend, and tie and connect together. Those three cards.
Yeah.
Communications is everything, and how you use your words and how you convey whatever it is you want is so vital. One of my many, many mentors, and I know that you know of her, her name was Maya Angelou. And she
Mm.
said that people will forget your name, what you look like, and any and everything. But what they will remember is what you said and how you made them feel. And not
Yeah.
all the time so much what you said, but how you made them feel. So the words that we
Yeah.
use and how we communicate with each other is so important, how we use those words. And the ending, the key, some of the words, oh, you got me excited now, Ross, is that you have to be mindful. There's certain things you don't really need to speak of. And
Mm.
I equate that somewhat because you know that my work is all about style, with style, because there's certain things that we've gone so casual that people,
Mm.
and especially women, that's who I work with, they just say, ah, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. And words and how you use them, it matters as well, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's when you say style too, it's one of the things that when you do live streaming, for me, I do a live every day. And
Every
I know it doesn't matter what you're wearing on the bottom part. It's only the top part that you see that's there. So in deciding what to wear this morning, I knew there was going to be the style about it because I haven't really developed a style because most of my time is working from home, and it's not so much in the last 4 or 5 years that I've actually had one-to-one people visit, as one-to-one
right,
visits. It's been
right.
mostly online that I've done, or not at all because of a gap that I had looking after mum and dad. Um, it's but it still does matter because of the way that you feel. You're saying, when you hear somebody's words, it's not so much what they say, how you feel. It's even in a home workspace. Dress up, dress as if for work, that it is your work. But see, my work is fun, so
Oh,
I'm dressing for most of the time because
Ross,
I like
Ross,
these sparkly
I,
colours.
I, I just love the way you're coming back at me with that because, first off, the coloration and the colors that you have in you, you're so full of energy and vibe and all of that. It doesn't matter. But if I were to ask you what style would you categorize yourself in? What would you put yourself in? Are you sporty casual? Are you romantic? Are you very classic? Are you chic? Are you dramatic? You're in one of the
As,
five. So, which one would you put yourself
well,
into?
as a style, instead of sporty classic, because I'm not sporty, sporty casual, not
Yes.
classic, sporty casual. I'm super casual. So it's not the sporty really, but it sort of is. I love wearing leggings because they're comfortable. I enjoy the casual, comfortable style. I wear flat. I don't want
Mm,
a high heel shoe except for weddings.
right.
um, It's
Right.
yeah,
Well, you're
that's
not
the
alone
style
because
that
most
I
women
have. I just
wearing leggings, they're comfortable. Everybody
I
wants
suppose,
comfort these
yeah,
days, and comfort you can have, and you can still be dressed with style. So I get that, and I like one. You would never know that you wear leggings with the beautiful top that you have on, the coloration that's coming through today.
it's a
Let me
longer
ask you this:
top, so yeah.
it's a longer top. When people come to you, or do people come to you for consultations, or do you go into different centers and places like that? Yeah,
No,
which
I've
both.
had it. Yeah, it is people come to me. So when I was working in a centre, it was still they come to me. I did try I'd go and visit like a mobile service. I only did it a couple of times. I think for me it was the discomfort of not knowing the space at the other end and feeling the different energies, I wasn't able to control it as much. So, as empath, we pick up, and
Yeah.
it was a safety thing at one particular one. I thought, no, another one, I got gypped, did the service, he paid, it was an incorrect number. So, it, it, yes, various events do lead to precautionary actions sometimes.
Well, indeed they do, and you're leading me to where I wanted to go with the work that you're doing, and you're doing it quite well, and I tune in when I can. Are you doing a lot of going out to speak about the work that you're doing? Do you go out as a speaker to allow the audience and the group of people to get to know your work and what you're doing?
No, I haven't yet, because there hasn't been that opportunity as such. Where
Okay.
I'm based in South Australia, and it has been a small country town that I was brought up in, on a farm. I have done that type of role. I was a lay preacher for a short time in my lifespan as it is now. I did do some lay preaching. My father was a wonderful man who was a lay preacher in the initially Methodist, but then Uniting Church, for 50 years. So I learnt
You have
well
done
from
everything.
a fantastic example. So I can do the public speaking and that form of speaking. It's just that the opportunity hasn't arisen. These
Okay.
restrictions certainly have pulled that back anyway,
Good.
but, just
I
life
understand.
events
I
meant
understand.
not.
We have a lag here with our communications, but I understand, and I heard what you said. Let me ask you this in closing. The work that you're doing, which is stupendous, it's really beyond anything as far as I'm concerned. What in this work fills you up because of the work you're doing the most?
I think it's actually it's the process of connecting with spirit and tuning in and being able to give that, and for others to take example for themselves, that it's possible for even you to do the same thing. If it's not for others, it can still be for yourself, so that you're actually bringing in that connection and feeling. And it's the feeling that I have at that heart center, because of my understandings of how our soul is within this body. It's not the complete, the soul itself is the complete person, the complete who we are. And whether you do that heart thingy, oh, I've done it. But if you can see it, that it's the heart of who we are is our soul. The soul continues onward apart from this body. And
Uh,
we can connect
you're
with
talking
each and
my
every
language.
one of our ancestors in that same way. And
Yes.
it's available for any.
Yes. Roz, I do it all the time. The time flies here and it goes much too quickly. You have so much to share and so much to give, and I really do applaud you for the work that you're doing. You mentioned words that are very close to me and my heart. You mentioned soul, you mentioned heart, and along with that, I tie in feminine leadership that is heart-centered. Because I feel, Roz, and I'd like to close with this, that the universe is calling for you, for me, for all of us to be heart-centered leaders. Thank you for being with us tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm
Very
going
much.
I'm going to say, you can say so long to the audience, and I'll be back with you in just a second.
Continue to be the best person that you are. Namaste.
Ah, I love that. I love that. Indeed, there's no better ending. Continue to be the best person that you are. If you're in the process of becoming, that's all well and good. I always enjoy it when I look out and see that you're here. I know, as Roz and I discussed earlier, that we're all so busy, yet you take the time, and we're grateful that you did. If you're watching this replay, please put in hashtag replay so that we'll know that you were here. And more importantly, make sure that you connect with Roz. You can get to her website. You can get to her page, which I'm looking for here, and here it is. And all of this will be up so that you can connect with her. The intention is that everyone here who comes here will meet and connect with each other because we all need each other. And as I mentioned, the universe is crying for female leadership. So stand up and shout out, I'm here and I'm ready. And I can't wait for us to take not so much the lead, but to take up the role of leadership that's innately within us. It's always good to see you here. I hope that you'll be well, stay well, and safe, and do all the things that they're telling us to do, because sooner than later, we will all be out and about. It will be different, but we will be out and about. So you take care and do all that you can to support, aid, and assist others. Until we connect again and soon, all the best. So long for now. Cheers.